Hi, I'm Bhaskar with Bicycle AI. Super excited to launch Vibe Analytics on Snowflake today. Prompt plus data builds you an agent that does your analytics. Last time I did this with a CSV. Same product, now let's do it on a real warehouse. If this is new to you, let me just give you 30 seconds of context first. A handful of numbers run your business, right? So checkout conversion, payment success, cart recovery. And each one is really hundreds of segments, products, regions, payment methods, all moving independently all day. When one of them moves the wrong way, there are two ways to find out. A dashboard waits for you to open it. A chatbot waits for you to ask. Both need you to already suspect something's wrong. On the other hand, an agent doesn't wait. It watches, it catches what moved, and it tells you why. Let's build one. This is the Database Explorer, standard retail checkout data in Snowflake, right? So 10 tables, there's sessions, payment attempts, recoveries, plus the metadata. So device type, payment method, customer segment, cart value band, etc. Nothing's modeled here. It's just tables, raw data. Now let's get a bicycle. This is a brand new account to do a trial. So this is the Vibe Analytics homepage where you point your data to it, either upload files or connect a warehouse. And let's just do Snowflake here. So I already have a connection established, but if you needed to add a new connection, you can either go username and password, or you can basically pick a key pair. So since we have a connection, let me connect to that. What are the tables this particular role has access to? Nothing is copied out of Snowflake ever, so you can choose a read-only role here. So now I'm just saying these are all fine. Let's go ahead and connect this. My connection is established, and I have 10 tables in scope. My prompt is optional. I've already connected the data. And here's where it gets interesting. Bicycle is reading the schema. So based on that, it will recommend the agents. It's also doing all the other useful stuff like finding the time field, the metrics, the breakdowns, etc. Again, all agentic. Bicycle has processed the schema of all 10 tables, and all possible agents that can be built are displayed here. So I'll take the obvious one, which is the checkout completion rate. And I click on Start Onboarding. So now, before it actually starts onboarding, 3 quick steps. The first one is understanding how fresh the data is. Is this something where new data is added regularly, or is this basically sandbox? If this is where data is refreshed regularly, you get to choose how often is it. So daily, 2 a.m. Why does this matter? It matters because it means Bicycle analyzes a complete day, not a half-loaded table. That's the difference between a real alert and a false one. Click on next. And now I'm basically reviewing events. What does that mean? Now, of the 10 tables, 3 of them were events, which were things that happen. Checkout session, payment attempt, recovery. So Bicycle has isolated them so that it can understand that better. And each one is mapped to its source table, each with its own refresh schedule. Let's go to the next step. And now I'm reviewing dimensions. The other 7 tables were dimensions: device type, payment method, customer segment, etc. Those 10 raw tables basically are now a data model. So 3 events, 7 dimensions, fully mapped. Normally takes weeks. And every line, though, once we set everything up, is editable, and you keep the guardrails. So now I'm going to just click on confirm and continue. And I can either walk away, and this will usually take me about 10-15 minutes, and it'll send me an email, or we can just wait here. You can see sort of like the capabilities of Bicycle here, but it's really building the data model, KPIs, baselines, patterns, 10-15 minutes, and then it'll email you when it's ready. So it's built the data model. What that means is onboarding a bunch of KPIs. You can actually look at these KPIs. It's wired up the formulas, and it's brought them into the data model. It's onboarded the dimensions because all these KPIs are going to be sliced by these dimensions. It is also done the pattern model. So what that means is on top of the data model that it onboarded, it's basically wired up what to watch for. It's also then wired up why do these typically drift? And all these patterns are wired up in sort of like a decision-making loop. Okay, so now the agent onboarding is complete. Let's see what the agent found. And this is super exciting, right? Because without anybody asking a question, it's actually finding what is interesting in all the KPIs and all the segments that were onboarded. So in this case, what it's saying is there was a drop in payment step completion rate on Apple Pay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on View RCA to understand what happened. It's saying, hey, checkout completion dropped for Apple Pay, and it's summarizing what is the concentration, where did it actually happen, what are the different factors, and everything else. There's a bunch of stuff that it's getting from the Snowflake data, but it is also doing a cause analysis, which you can see when you look at the full breakdown. So it's actually evaluating multiple drivers, and these causes actually don't live in Snowflake. So what I did was, once the agent was live, I handed it this context. So you can connect your gateway, your deploy logs, your ticket queues, and what the agent will do is it'll go and find the cause that's actually correlated with what you're basically seeing. All right, so these are alerts. So alerts are what changed today. But data stories, which is the next feature that you see after alerts here, are what changed over a month, over a week, like a quarterly business review or something like that. So here you can see basically payment failure rate spiked in June, then recovered, things about card recovery, all the numbers that you want to do, in like a PowerPoint deck format. Dashboards also definitely still exist. This was a dashboard that we built out automatically. So if you go to dashboards, you see the 6 dashboards that were automatically created. So I did not create any of these. You can, however, actually add a dashboard, create with AI, and pick a prompt, and it'll build a dashboard for you. So the last feature is chat. So you can just ask a natural language question and it'll give you the answer. So how does checkout completion rate vary by payment method over the last 7 days? It'll show you the different percentages. And when you want to ask, just ask and it'll basically give you the answers. Just to wrap up, what we just did was connect, pick an agent, and the agent runs and finds those insights, build data stories, etc. And so what that means is analysts get less grunt work. They can really just build, tune, and govern all of this. Data teams set the guardrails and the agent runs inside them. So multiple Snowflake tables, 15 minutes, an agent that found a problem that no one was even asking for. It's live now, self-service at bicycle.ai. Go ahead and vibe up your first agent.